Welcome to Pastor's Chat today. We're looking at Joshua chapter 6. For the past several days, we've read the first 5 verses. So I want to start with verse 6 today and read the following verses. Then Joshua, the son of Nun, called the priests and said to them, "Take up the ark of the covenant, and let the 7 priests bear 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the ark of the Lord." And he said to the people, "Proceed and march around the city, and let him who is armed advance before the ark of the Lord." So it was, when Joshua had spoken to the people, that the 7 priests bearing the 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the Lord advanced and blew the trumpets, and the ark of the covenant of the Lord followed them. The armed men went before the priests who blew the trumpets, and the rear guard came after the ark while the priests continued blowing the trumpets. Now Joshua had commanded the people, saying, "You shall not shout or make any noise with your voice, nor shall a word proceed out of your mouth until the day I say to you, shout, then you shall shout." So he had the ark of the Lord circle the city, going around it once. Then they came into the camp and lodged in the camp. Joshua rose early in the morning, and the priests took up the ark of the Lord. Then the 7 priests bearing the 7 trumpets of the ram's horns before the ark of the Lord went on continually and blew with the trumpets. And the armed men went before them, but the rear guard came after the ark of the Lord while the priests continued blowing the trumpets. And the second day they marched around the city once and returned to the camp. This they did for 6 days. And it came to pass on the 7th day that they rose early about the dawning of the day, and they marched around the city 7 times in the same manner. And that day only they marched around the city 7 times. And the 7th time it happened, when the priests blew the trumpets, that Joshua said to the people, "Shout, for the Lord has given you the city." Now this is an amazing passage, and a couple things we really want to point out as these people follow the instructions, obey the instructions that God has given to Joshua, and now that Joshua has given to the people. They followed. Now these are tough instructions to follow. And my friend, sometimes it's tough to follow the instructions of the Bible. You say, "Man, those rules are so many. They're so hard. And people, if I do that, they're going to laugh at me and say, 'What, are you crazy? Why do you go to church? Why do you read your Bible? Why do you give money to missions? Why do you give money to the poor? Why do you spend your time down there all day at the church helping with them?' Goodness, does it make it matter? It doesn't make any sense. My friend, it doesn't have to make any sense with the world. And you can imagine what happened when these people were told, "Okay, get in line, start marching with your banners, with your tribes and with your people and your families, and you march around the city, all of us." And then he says, nobody can talk. Nobody can, not a word out of your mouth. So the first day they march around 1 time, the second day 1 time, 7, all the way to the 6th day 1 time, then the 7th day. Now you can imagine people over inside the city are looking over the wall and they're going, "What in the world is going on? What are these people doing? They're blowing trumpets, they're walking around the walls, and they're just doing nothing. They're crazy." And they start, hey, what are you doing down there? What, you think walking around the wall is going to conquer the city? And I'm telling you, the world will jeer at you. They'll make fun of you. We're seeing it happen in America like never before. Our faith is being mocked and ridiculed. And who do you think your God is? Where is your God? You read it in the newspaper. Where was your God on 9/11? Where was your God on when this happened? But my friend, God's still on his throne. And when we follow his instructions, the impossible will take place. Now, I'm telling you, what happened is by faith, the walls came down. As every day they walked around, they weren't allowed to talk because they would have complained, they would have griped, no telling what they would have said, but no word came out of their mouth. And they didn't stop on the 6th time, on the 6th day. They marched around the 7th time, just like God said. Now, when you do it the way God says, prescribe the way God says, and you obey from faith, guess what happens? The impossible becomes possible. Yes, it's when the impossible finally just dawns on us, it will never happen, that we truly trust God. We get desperate and we trust God, and God does the impossible. And my friend, that's what we do by faith. And that's what happened with the walls of Jericho. And I believe that today you can trust Him to do whatever needs to be done in your life. Trust Him today. Well, God bless you, and you have a wonderful, wonderful day.